Welcome back to another episode of UFC Casuals. I'm Bobby, along with my co-host Andrew. And after a long wait between pay-per-views, we are back to talk about UFC 289. You got the GOAT of women's MMA fighting. You got a big fight at lightweight. Not a lot else, but nevertheless, it's a pay-per-view, so we're going to be here talking about it. And we'll jump straight into it. We'll get into the main event. What do you make of this fight?
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, not a very good card, but we get to see the women's MMA GOAT fight. That's always exciting. Amanda Nunes, when she wants to, when she's on, is easily the most entertaining women's fighter, the most dominant fighter. She's so strong for a woman. I know but it's just true. Like, she gets knockout, she gets finishes. Not a lot of other female fighters can say that, and she's one of the few that every time you go out there and watch an Amanda Nunes fight, you can expect a finish.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is her first title defense since getting the belt back, so big fight for her. And Aldana coming off a big win. She won by up kick to the liver in her last fight, one of the most interesting knockouts we've ever seen. So yeah, it should be an interesting fight. Nunes is the heavy favorite as expected. She's the GOAT of MMA. I mean, of women's MMA. So and like you said, when she's on, she's the best female fighter on the planet. There's no question about it. So yeah, I think she has a significant advantage in this fight. I think she probably wins, but I want to get your prediction first.
Well, here's the deal. Irene Aldana is solid.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have a lot of wins, actually. I mean, this isn't an impressive streak to get a title shot. Like you mentioned, she had that cool KO in her last fight. But, not a really deserving resume, in my opinion. This is kind of just a fight they needed to, who was Amanda Nunes going to fight next? They didn't want to do Pena 3, right? They didn't want to do that fight again. And Nunes just needs new blood, and this is new blood for her. The only time she's lost in the past, recent memory is that Pena fight, number one, where she just did not look motivated. She gassed in 2 rounds. I think if Nunes, she's kind of like John Jones, right? Where if she's not motivated, she's not going to go out there and give her best effort. I think if she's going to be motivated for this fight because she knows what happened 2 fights ago, she lost in embarrassing fashion. I think she's well prepared, and I think she's going to dominate Irene Aldana, honestly.
You think she gets a submission or a finish or no?
I mean, it's the cliche, she can win however she wants, right? Yeah. But I think if she really wants to go out there and finish as quickly as she can, I think she can knock her out. I think she will knock her out. Irene Aldana, solid boxer, in the same can as the flyweight champ, Alexa Grasso, actually. So she's coming from a solid, team, right? I'm not calling her a garbage fighter, but Amanda Nunes is just on that other level, and I think she'll knock her out in the first round.
Yeah, that's a bold prediction. Aldana, she's a good striker. Her last 3 wins have all come by knockout or TKO. So she is a good striker. Is she good enough to keep up with Nunes? No. I'm with you on there. I think Nunes gets it done. I'm not going to give it to her in round 1. As exciting that would be, a round 1 knockout in her first title defense since getting it back. I think she gets it done in round 2, though. I think she wins by knockout. She's just such a much better fighter. And like you said, Aldana's not the best woman outside of Nunes in this division, but she needs new blood. But it's not going to go well for Aldana, I don't think. I'm with you. A quick knockout for Nunes.
The scary part is Nunes, if she wants to, can take this to the ground too. I mean, we saw what she did to Megan Anderson, right? At the higher weight class, the featherweight weight class. She can get you down an arm. She had her in a triangle armbar and doubles this. She has jiu-jitsu too. I mean, she is dominant. She's the GOAT for a reason. And if she is motivated for this fight, she is going to win.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Not much to say about this fight. It should be pretty one-sided. And the betting odds say the same thing. Nunes is a minus 350 favorite. Aldana is a plus 250 or 240 underdog. Sorry. So that tells you how Vegas feels about it too.
Not even her most lopsided odds ever, to be honest.
No,
I mean, I think maybe
it's closer than I expected, to be quite honest.
The sports books probably saw that Pena fight, and they're like, well, you never know. We got to stop, making it so one-sided for her. But
yeah,
I just think she gets it, man. I do.
I'm with you. Moving on to the co-main event, one of the main reasons that a lot of people are watching, Charles Oliveira versus Beniel Dariush, a big lightweight fight. Potentially the winner of this fight could be next in line for a title shot. Who knows? What do you make of this one?
Yeah, next title shot. They've already said Beniel. If Beniel wins, for sure, it's him. He's on an 8-fight win streak. He's looked really good. He's gotten finishes. He's beat top contenders. Gamrot in his last fight. That was a great win for him. He knocked him down. He won 2, maybe 3 rounds in that fight. So Beniel's looking great. He's definitely next in line. If he can beat Charles Oliveira, I mean, that's a great win on his resume and a very, the former undisputed champ, Charles Oliveira. I mean, Charles Oliveira defended his belt. Well, I guess the Gaethje fight didn't count as defending his belt, but he basically defended his belt 2-3 times.
Yes.
He was a great champion before Islam Makhachev got the belt. And I think either of these guys should be right in line for that next shot if they get this win, because this is a great win for both of them.
Absolutely. And Charles already cleared out this division for the most part, other than Islam, obviously. But for all the contenders, he cleared through those guys. So if Dariush can go out there and beat Charles, he absolutely should be next in line. And I've heard a lot of people say that the winner of the BMF belt fight at 291 should be next for lightweight. But no, if Dariush goes out there and beats Oliveira, it should be no question he should be next in line for that title shot.
Well, I understand people saying the BMF thing because those are bigger names than Beniel Dariush. Yes. And I guess they haven't fought Islam yet, so it would be new blood for Islam. But these are guys that have lost to Charles. They both lost to Habib, right? Before Charles was champ. So they've both lost to the guys that were champ. What, we think they're going to go up and beat Islam for the belt now? No. They need 2-3 more wins, in my opinion, before Poirier or Gaethje sniff that belt again. I think these two are easily the top 2 contenders of lightweight right now. Beniel's he's on a winning streak. That in itself is more than these other guys can say, for their debate to go for the title. So, Beniel, man, I'm excited for this fight. I think the striking's pretty even, in my opinion. I mean, Beniel's got hands.
Yeah. And he's big at lightweight, too. He looks like a huge lightweight. It's weird look at him. He doesn't look like a usual lightweight. Charles does have a slight reach advantage by 2 inches. And he's got good power, too. He's got very underrated power. I mean, you saw him put Gaethje down, and he didn't knock him out, but he knocked him down and then finished the fight by submission. So, Oliveira has some serious power, too. My big concern with him, though, is his chin. And we've seen him get caught by Chandler. We've seen him get caught by Poirier. I don't think Dariush is going to completely put him out, but that could be an area of concern for him.
It is a concern. I mean, even Islam dropped him in their title fight, right? He knocked him down and subbed him. So it is an issue. He's gotten knocked down in pretty much his last 5 fights. I think the last time Charles didn't get knocked down was the Tony Ferguson fight, which he just dominated. And that was kind of a, fading Tony Ferguson, right? I don't want to say washed, but he was on the downslope of his career. He gets knocked down. Now, that being said, lightweight has a lot of killers. It's no knock. There's some powerful guys at lightweight, but it is a concern when you're fighting a guy like Beniel Dariush, who you mentioned is very large for lightweight. He has such broad shoulders. He looks like a tank. He does.
Yeah.
And he's knocked people out plenty of times. I mean, he's got he does a spinning back fist knockout. He throws some mean overhand lefts. He's southpaw, right? So, Charles has got to look out for that. But, I think he might want to get this to the ground and, see if he can get Charles back like he does so many other – or Beniel's back like he does so many other fighters,
Yeah, that's where Charles has the advantage here. And Beniel's a good wrestler, but Charles' jiu-jitsu is next level. I mean, he's arguably the best submission artist in UFC history. So if this goes down to the ground, that's where Charles will thrive. And I think if he wins this fight, it's going to be by submission.
Is this a 3 or 5 round fight? Do you know?
I believe it's 5 round.
If it's 5, if it's 5, that's big for Charles because there's some rounds where, and especially early in fights, where Charles is susceptible to getting knocked down. Getting knocked down loses you a round. Yeah. Right. So if this is only a 3-round fight, we're talking about a knockdown in round 1 and 2, and that's a victory for Beniel if he cannot get finished. So I think that's a big factor in this fight. If it's 3 or 5 rounds, I hope it's 5. Because that gives Charles plenty of time to do what he does best, wear you down, slowly, methodically, piece you over with his hands, like you mentioned. He has great hands too, and then get you down, get your back, and finish it like he always does.
Yeah. My prediction for this fight, I don't have it going super far into those 5 rounds, if it is 5 rounds, like we said. I got Oliveira by round 2 sub. I think Beniel might go out there and win round 1, but Charles, I think at some point he manages to get it on the ground, and with how good of a submission artist he is, I think, if you leave an opening for him, he'll take advantage of it and he'll get that submission. And I think he does it in round 2.
Yeah. I don't see it getting finished that quick. I know Charles is a killer. He definitely can do that. He's done it to Gaethje and, plenty of other people. But Beniel reminds me of Poirier as a fighter, kind of. They just have similar builds, similar styles of fighting. You know, the boxing is great from both. So I think maybe he drops Charles early, maybe even the first round. I could see it. I don't think that's going to end it. You know, Charles has a great recovery, even though his chin, you know, is shady at times. But
Yeah.
I think, you know, Charles gets up. It's a dogfight, and I think Charles does get a finish. I have him winning by submission, but I think he'll get worn down. Benil's a great fighter, and he's earned this opportunity. But I do think Charles will get the better of him. Charles is elite. He's a great fighter, and I think he'll get the sub. Most subs in UFC history, he'll get another sub, probably a rear naked, and I'm going to say round 4. I think it'll be a long, good fight. If it's 4 rounds, if it's 3 rounds, then I'll say third round. But if it's 5 rounds, I'll say 4th round.
Fair enough. Good prediction. Well, we're on the same page with method of victory there, so that works. And then moving on, the third fight of the night, we have Mike Malott, versus Adam Fuggett. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm going to pronounce it that way. Great name, regardless. The Canadian here, Malott, he's in his own backyard, so he's going to have some fans cheering for him tonight. What do you make of this one?
I mean, I don't care.
I can't blame you. Let's be honest here.
Mike Malott is good boxing. I've seen Mike Malott fights. He knocks people out. He's exciting. Yeah. Hopefully we get a nice finish for the Canadian crowd here. I mean, they are in Canada. We haven't really mentioned that, but we've got some Canadian fighters on this card because they're in Canada.
Speaking of Canada, Charles 0-4 in Canada fights. Something to note.
He's got it. He's going to end that cold streak in Canada and finally get a win. But back to Mike Malott, though. He is on his home turf here, I guess, right? I don't know where he's from in Canada. Canada's a very large country. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's his home country, right? So the crowd will be on his side. And he's gotten playing. I don't know anything about Adam Fudget. So I'm going to go Mike Malott by knockout. That's about all I can say on this fight, man.
Yeah, man. I hate to keep going to round 2 over and over, but I have round 2 TKO for Malott. Like you said, good striker. I've read that Fugget has good wrestling. He's a good wrestler, but his chin is susceptible, apparently. He's been knocked down quite a bit. And Malott, he is a -220 favorite in this one, while Fugget is a +160 underdog. So the books.
So weak chin. It sounds like maybe they're looking for a knockout here from Malott.
Just setting something up for that Canadian crowd. Yeah,
exactly. And Mike Malott does have hands. So you said round 2. I'll go round 1 because why not?
Fair.
Let's get it done with quick. Yeah.
I don't mind that. And I'll pass it over to you for Danny Ige versus Nate the Train. I'll let you take the stage.
This is one of my favorite fights on this card. I mean, anytime Nate the Train, Nate Landwehr, is fighting, sit down and enjoy, because this guy is a wild card. I wouldn't say he's elite at anything in MMA. He doesn't have insane power. He's not gonna knock you out. His wrestling is not elite. It's not. But he has knockouts and submissions on his resume. So he's one of those fighters where he's not going to look for the finish in round 1, but he wants to wear you down. And I'd say Dan Ige is maybe the opposite. He goes out there firing immediately. I mean, he had that 10-second knockout over that guy a couple of years. I mean, he's Dan 50K Ige, the nickname for a reason, right? The guy goes out there to knock you out. And Nate Landwehr is going to love that, I think. I mean, Nate Landwehr loves someone who wants to come knock him out because he loves pushing the pace himself. So it just sets up for an amazing war, in my opinion. I don't see a lot of wrestling in this fight, even though both guys can probably do it. I think they're going to want to throw hands. And I love Nate Landwehr. He's a madman. He's from Tennessee, just like us. So I'm definitely rooting for Nate the Train. But he has gotten knocked down in the past, and I know Dan Ige has hands. So I'm going to go Dan Ige. I think he can last 3 rounds. I think, I don't know if he finishes him, but he definitely hurts him a lot, probably. And I'm going to say Dan Ige, decision victory with a couple knockdowns sprinkled in.
Awesome. Well, it could be fight of the night. Or it could be give us a performance of the night, maybe, if we get a quick knockout, rather. But that 50K bonus might be heading someone in that fight. Who knows? And then the last fight of the card, we have Marc-Andre Barriault versus Eric Anders, the former linebacker at Alabama, actually. A guy who's not looking too good in his recent fights. He's lost 2 of his last 3, and Barriault has lost 2 of his last 4. So both guys who desperately need a win tomorrow night. And Barrialt, he's a younger guy in this fight. He's seen a little bit more success recently. And Barrialt, he has a big striking advantage. Anders, he's rounded, but he doesn't excel anywhere. Barrialt, though, he is a good striker, and I think this is a little bit more one-sided. I think he'll pick him apart. I'm not going to pick him to get the finish. I have Barrialt winning by a convincing decision, though.
How on earth is this fight on a main card?
That's a great question. That is a great question.
Absolute. No disrespect to either fighter. They're UFC vets at this point. They've both been around for quite a bit, but neither of them are good enough to be anywhere near a pay-per-view. No. It might be a good fight. It's always these cards that we see that are like, what is this? Like, we look at it on paper and we're like, this is the drizzling shits. But those end up being good cards usually. So I'm not gonna knock these fighters. They're gonna go put on a good show, but it has no implications. These guys are nowhere near ranked fighters. It has no impact on their division. Same with the Mike Malott fight, right? Why? It's just because they're Canadian that they put him on the main card.
Yeah,
and I might fall asleep during this fight. I hope it's a knockout, but you said decision. I hope not.
Yeah. Oh, who knows? It's not the best card on paper, but we'll give it a chance. We'll watch it. Hopefully, some fireworks. Even if these fights have no implications whatsoever, who knows? Maybe there'll be something good that comes out of it.
The co-main definitely has implications, so we can have that to look forward to. Yeah,
that's the main reason I'm going out to see this, and then and then the main event as well. Although a little bit more one-sided, still should be fun to watch the GOAT of women's MMA.
Always a pleasure to watch the GOAT of anything,
Yep, of course. Well, that wraps up our coverage of UFC 289. The next time we see you guys, we will be covering arguably the best card of the year, UFC 290. Can't wait for it. Fight week is going to be incredible.
Hurry up.
So, yeah, until then, we will see you guys next time.
See ya.